Just a quick recap of the weekend's Currie Cup results, domestically. We got a couple wrong last week, namely the Lions-Bulls game and the Sharks-Griquas game. So should we just start with those two?
Yeah. Look, I mean, I picked earlier this season that the Golden Lions would be the team to watch. They've never really had many Springboks, so this team doesn't really deviate much from their Super Rugby team, which really was impressive this season. But the Bulls, credit to them, they've had a pretty woeful start to the season. But they were pretty impressive, I thought, against the Lions this weekend. Ran away by 10-point winners at the end. I certainly would have gone for the Lions to upset the Bulls there. But at Loftus Versfeld, the Bulls certainly a better team than they are on the road. And even though they're still outside the top 4 playoff spots at the halfway mark of the competition, they're building nicely, and they might just sneak into that sort of 4th spot when all is said and done. Like I said, we're halfway through the tournament, 5 matches played, 5 to go. They're going to have to win at least, I think, 4 out of those 5 games to be in contention still. They've still got a lot to do, thanks to their pretty woeful start. But they might still sneak in there. The Lions, for their part, a little bit disappointing. They sort of were under the cosh early on. They came back nicely, but then the score sort of blew out to the 10-point margin late in the game. And then talking about the Griquas upset over the Sharks, again, a few issues, I think, down in Durban. They're struggling to score tries themselves, much like South Africa. I don't think they've scored a bonus point in any of the matches they played to date. They are the defending champions. They've now slipped, I think, to 4th in the log. I don't want to go as far as to say that they might miss out on the playoffs, which would be a massive shock. But they're certainly going to have to up their game. They're obviously missing a lot of Springboks, but they've got tons of depth in Durban. So I expect them to be better in the coming weeks. But certainly losing to Griquas, this is a game they would have sort of earmarked on the calendar as one that they would have picked up 5 points from. Griquas, they led for pretty much the whole game. The Sharks did tie the score at 18-all, and then Francois Bremer, the Griquas fly, put over the injury time drop to seal the 21-18 victory. So hats off to the men from Kimberley. They've had a pretty dire start. They are a team that will miss the playoffs. I'm pretty sure about that. But they've thrown a spanner in the works of the Sharks' chances for sure.
Okay. Runaway victory for Western Province. No surprises there. But the Pumas, we weren't sure if they were going to be able to sort of emulate their home form, and then on the road they go and beat the Cheetahs.
Yeah,
so,
fantastic.
Really impressive.
Fantastic for the Pumas. They're the fairy tale of this year's Currie Cup. Jimmy Stonehouse doing fantastic things in Nelspruit. As you said, they're really tough to beat at home. But now they've picked up an away victory, which is fantastic for them, up to 2nd on the log. They really look like if they continue their form, they will make the playoffs. So, they're going to knock out one of the bigger unions, if you like, if they make the top 4. But they were really, really impressive against the Cheetahs. The Cheetahs, from their point, again, missing so many players. Everyone's sort of leaving Bloemfontein off either to other provinces in South Africa or Japan, France, England. So not great times. They were pretty woeful in the Super Rugby. I don't know how they build on this for, heading into next year's Super Rugby. But Puma is fantastic, and then again, the Province EP Kings match sort of just demonstrated the gulf in the Currie Cup. The Western Province team unbeaten, top of the log. The EP Kings haven't won a single game this year. The gap just gets wider and wider. This was a repeat of the very first game of this year's Currie Cup when Western Province went down to PE, and that game was fairly competitive. But this weekend at Newlands, 7 tries for Western Province, easy victors. The Kings only picking up 14 points, and 7 of those were in injury time anyhow. So they're pretty much blown out. Kings winless. They really need to get back on the winning streak if they're going to compete in next year's Super Rugby, which they're sort of back in the fold there.
We'll be sure to check in on Sport24 for all your latest sports news, and we'll be keeping you updated throughout the week on News 24 Live with various guests and analysis.